Did you hear the one about the guy who rented a limo for $1,000?
No.
It did not come with a driver. Can you imagine spending all that money with nothing to chauffeur it?
Oh,
Oh, dear.
oh,
Mm.
and it's only 10 o'clock.
Well, it's a good thing. Start with some humor.
Oh, me.
Today, any questions? We've been getting a bunch, but I want to limit them now to just notes and messages.
I just want to let you know that there is a new message from Kathleen saying it's 9 degrees in New York City.
Thanks, Kathleen.
No, thank you.
The other part is 44 days until spring.
That's
He thinks positive.
The Apple has, I'm going to mute everybody and go ahead and talk by alternate means like holding down your space bar or hitting the, what is it, to get to the mic?
yes.
The Alt A turns on and off the mic. Apple has I think, a wonderful technique of allowing you or making it easy for you to use a particular application without knowing all of its sub features. I call it like unlayering an onion. You get the taste of the onion on the outer shell, but as you dig back down in deeper, there's more and more onion there. There are more and more functions as you go deeper. For example, notes. Since we're going to talk about that, I'm going to switch over to my screen share. Can everybody read all the things that are on the screen?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. I'm going to start by going to notes and going into the notes settings from both my iPhone and my iPad. They're slightly different. So we go to settings. And the first thing I would like to go to on settings is to make sure your notes are being shared with the iCloud, so that if you put a note on one device, it shows up on the other. If you go to, and that would be going to your name at the top of the screen on the iPhone, as well as on the iPad. And where it says iCloud, go ahead and tap that. So we should all be looking at this screen. And you see where it says show all?
Where did you start?
I started at settings,
Okay.
and then I tapped my name at the top of the screen.
Okay. Okay, I'm caught up. Thank you. I missed you getting my phone.
And then I tapped on iCloud.
Thank you.
And it should say show all there. I want to tap show all. And it shows you all the features that are being saved. And I just want to make sure in this case that notes is turned on both devices.
I don't see show all.
Okay. Does it say iCloud at the top center?
Yes, it says iCloud on both of them at the top.
Okay, and right down here is where it says show all, Ann.
Do that again.
Which part? You go to settings, tap your name at the top, and then tap iCloud. And it should be saying iCloud at the top.
Yes.
And then there's sections there. It's iCloud Plus is the first section. The next section is apps using iCloud. And it says show all there. And we tap the little arrow next to show all.
What if
got
you
it
don't
on the
have the
phone.
show all?
I got it on the phone, but not on the iPad.
I got it on the iPad, but not on the phone.
Does it say notes above it?
I've got iCloud at the top. Then manage storage. Then it goes on to photos and iCloud backup. I got notes. Notes is on.
That's all I want to make sure of. That
The
notes is
show.
on if you see that.
Bill,
Okay,
I
show me where
don't
the show
have
is.
notes.
Right there.
You don't have notes on your device?
Yeah,
Look
I
at
have an
this.
iPhone
Okay.
13.
I had to click on show all before I got the notes.
Right.
See, my notes is up here. Mine's not.
Okay.
I did that and I don't have notes. Is it something I can pull in from?
Yeah, you have to go to the Apple store and get notes.
Okay, all right, that's why. Thank you.
And Barbara, your volume is turned way down, or your mic's far away, one of the two.
I have a bad mic, number 3.
Okay. Okay.
Mute back.
So we've got notes.
Yes,
You just want to make sure it's on so that data is being transferred to the iCloud from both devices, so it's being shared. And then we're going to hit the back arrow on the iPhone and the iPad. So we go back to, on the iPhone, you want to go clear back to where it says settings at the top in bold letters.
Bill, excuse me. How did you get to the part where it shows apps using those different things?
Are we talking about the iPhone or the iPad?
Either one. Is this an iOS 16?
Yes.
Oh, this
Did you
is,
tap your name at the top?
yeah, I did.
Tap your name at the top. And then you should see a section that says, or a icon that says iCloud. You tap that. And then there should be a section that's titled Apps Using iCloud. And either it is there or you need to show all to see all the apps that are using the iCloud. And I just want to make sure that notes is
Yeah,
turned
the
on.
terminology must have changed in iOS 6.
I have iOS 16.
I haven't had time to update to 16 yet.
It
That's
was there in 15.
I haven't though.
It's 16.3.
I'm a little behind.
No, it should be there in 15 too. This has been there for quite a few
Well, I mean,
years.
I have all the apps are listed there. It's just that, I guess, just the terminology is different.
Okay. So let's go back to settings, everyone. And scroll down in the settings menu. That would be the one with settings at the top. And we want to scroll down on that one. You want to scroll down to where it says notes. Okay. And I want you to make sure it says default account is iCloud. Now, if you don't have that particular line, that means you only have one notepad. And I'm not trying to complicate things there. If you have particular email providers or email service provider, you could have places where notes are kept that is not on in the Apple world. For example, Google has the capability of having notes. So you could have notes going to there. Just make sure all those are turned off. And your default is iCloud.
Is this just on the iPad?
iPad and iPhone. And again, if you don't have a line item called default, that means you only have one, which is fine, and it's the iCloud.
I have default account on the iPhone. I'm not finding it on the iPad.
That's okay. You only have, okay, I need to back up and explain something. Everybody has one thing called accounts there. And Ann, do you have one called accounts?
Yes, I do, and I just found default account too.
Okay, hold on. Oh. Now everybody just look at the screen and don't try to do. Just watch. All right. I have 10 different email accounts. And you may have 1, 2, 3, or 4. iCloud up here has many additional features in addition to an email account. If I tap the arrow here, you'll know, I don't know if I want to pick that one. Let me not pick Apple. Let me pick Gmail. Here's my Gmail account. And Gmail is telling me they have the capability of providing me mail. They also have the capability of providing me a contact list and a calendar. And if I tap the arrow, they also have the capability of providing me a notepad. So, Bill, do you mean to tell me I can have more than one notepad? Yes, I do. Yes, you can.
Should we turn it off like you have?
I would turn it off like I have, because I only want one, else things get really confusing.
And then it deletes it from your iPad.
No, it doesn't delete any.
It
You just
says
can't
so.
see it.
It
may
says
delete it
so.
from you're right, it would delete it from your iPad. But remember, we're trying to use the Apple notepad, not the Google one. If I come down here to Yahoo, it has a notepad as well. If I go to iCloud, where do I find those? I don't want to go there. But so you have an iCloud notepad. Do you have a Hotmail one? You could, if you turn this indicator on. If I turn it on, when I go to the Notes app, I'll see different notepads. And I'm trying to eliminate that from everybody. All right?
No, no, not all right. You went from notes,
I don't,
settings, settings, notes, and then you went to accounts.
correct.
And then you went to notes in the accounts.
Just to know, I went to the accounts to find out if those applications provided me a notepad.
On my phone, they don't.
That's not
Yes, if you want out.
necessarily true. That's not true.
I found it.
Okay, Google has a notepad on both. I just choose not to have it or use it. I only want to use one. Else things get really confusing. I had a client one time that had Google as their notepad, but they were only looking at the iCloud notepad. So every time, I'm sorry, they had Google as their default. And that means every time you write a note, it goes into the Google notepad. I use the analogy that you have a notepad by your phone and you have a notepad by your bed. If you write a notepad by your bed, it won't be on the one by the phone. Conversely, if you write something on the notepad on the phone by the phone, it won't be at the one on at the bed. So that same thing applies here. If I have a notepad in the iCloud and a notepad in Gmail, which one am I writing on? Okay, well, if you have a default, you're writing to the one that you have defaulted.
So are you saying if we have notes in Google, we should turn it off?
Yes,
Thank you.
you should. Well, you don't need to turn it off right now. Just make sure they're all in the iCloud, and then you want to move the notes from any ones you put in the Gmail or Google to the iCloud. And I'll show you how to do that in a little while, if you have any there.
Thank you.
And I want to make sure everybody has the default iCloud. And again, does everybody have that terminology there? Anybody not? Good. If you want to set up a password and lock a note, you can do that with the next arrow there. Now that's a little more advanced, and you don't need to do that right now. Just remember it's there, and that's where you would go to set up the password for it. Okay. And it does allow you to set up a custom password for your notes if you choose to lock one. If you scroll down a little bit further on the settings menu, it says sort notes by. And I have mine date edited. And I can group my notes by date.
Where is your date notes?
Say again?
Where are you looking at settings?
Will you see where it says viewing on my screen?
Yes.
Sort notes by. Mine's set for date edited.
Okay,
What is,
okay.
why would you not use date created?
Because I want in order of when I last changed them.
Okay. Date edited, it's clicked on mine, checked on mine. Automatically it will.
And then there's new notes start with title. And that's the name of the note, by the way. When you the first line of the note is the title of the note, and that's what shows up in the notes list. And I think that's all we do there. Well, let's see.
What are the lines and grids?
If you want them.
But what does it do to what?
Here, I'm going to turn it on. Okay, that's what the note before you start typing would look like if you pick one of those. So if I pick this, and then I go to my notes app, and I start a new note. See the lines?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Can you put the grid somewhere else?
Pardon me?
Can you put the grids and is there a choice anywhere else that if you can add grids or is it only in notes?
I put a grid on my photos. I don't know about email. I haven't found a way to put it in an email. There are some other things.
I
Go
didn't hear
ahead.
you. I didn't hear your last sentence.
I said I can put a grid on my camera and I can add a table to my messages and my mail. There are other places you could do that.
Thank you.
I guess the only other one there is where it says save to photos. If you set up and say take a picture while you're in notes,
How do you take a picture when you're in notes?
you want to send somebody you're working a note, you want to take a picture of something to include in the note.
If you go to quick
That's what I
notes,
mean by unlayering the onion.
if you go up to corner gestures and click on corner gestures, if you go
Where
left,
are you? Are you in a note or are you in settings?
the section under viewing says quick notes. Click on corner gestures and then left corner swipe takes a screenshot.
Yeah, I know.
So that's how to get a picture of your note.
If you want, yes. Where are you looking at? Viewing, or did you go back up somewhere?
Go back then. It was under, okay, so under viewing, the next section is called quick notes. And you click on corner gestures. And under corner gestures,
No. Do you see that on my screen?
no, I'm seeing it on my screen.
Huh?
It's just in the iPad though, right?
Yeah, on the iPad.
Okay.
See
Yes,
it, where it says corner gestures, click on quick corner gestures.
Mhm.
Okay, then left corner swipe, click on that and it says screenshot. So you can get a screenshot of your note,
Understood.
left corner swipe.
Now, if everybody has an iPad, go to where Blake is suggesting there, where it says Quick Notes, and tap where it says the arrow, and
Corner
it says
gestures.
left corner gesture. Go ahead and make that a screenshot. You can make it a screenshot, quick note, or off.
Right. I like
And then
screen.
right corner gesture, make that a quick note.
Correct.
Okay,
Pretty cool.
Bill, this is Jean.
yes, Gene, go ahead.
It appears on the iPhone, it's below app links on the iPhone. So I kept scrolling up and it says save to photos, but then it doesn't give you any choices if you turn it on
Correct.
on the phone. So on the phone, if I'm in a note and I want a picture, what does it do? Automatically save a picture of it?
Yes. Now,
Oh.
see, that's different. That's different than taking a screenshot.
Right. How
Right.
would it do that? How would it? How
We'll
would
talk
it?
about that when we get into notes.
Okay, gotcha. I've never seen that before. That, and when she brought it up, I'm like, okay, what's that's about? Thank you.
If you're in a note, there's a camera icon when you're working on a note where you can actually take a picture. Ooh, how come I still have the grid there? Ooh. I don't. Okay. Wow. Let's go back out of settings now. Everybody back to your home screen. We're no longer in settings. And we're going to open the Notes app. There are 3 panels in the Notes app.
Wait a minute,
You see
where did
I
you
went
go
to
after
the-
you got to your home screen?
Notes, open the Notes app. All right.
Why does yours say folders and mine says notes?
I know. No, it says
Doesn't
notes.
say either, it just says all cloud.
Nothing. There, I haven't gotten any further yet. On those of you who have an iPad, there's a little box in the upper left-hand corner. I'd like you to hit that. And you should have 3 panels now. One that says folders, one that says all iCloud. Well, it says something here, and then there's a particular note on the left, on the right, I mean. Yes? On
Yes.
the
No.
iPhone, it works a little differently. Mine says folders. If you have an arrow at the top and goes back, tap that. And there's the first folder. That's the base of the tree. Okay. And the tree has an item called Quick Notes, if you have a Quick Note. If you don't worry about it. And then you have all the different folders your notes are in. Okay, same on the iPad and the iPhone, right? So you have folders. You may have 1 or 2 or none, but you should have at least all iCloud. Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Bill?
If I tap all iCloud, that is all your notes. So just look at mine for a minute, because you can build up yours later. And then I created subfolders. So I have all these different subfolders. And anything I don't put in a subfolder ends up in just notes. So in my case, if you look at my screen, I have 103 in notes. Then I have a bunch in other places for a total of 142, which is in what's in the iCloud, or all iCloud. All right. If you don't have any folders, all iCloud and notes should be the same number.
Mine
Okay.
doesn't add up right. I have all iCloud 42. And then under notes 41, stuff 1. Okay, that adds up to 42, but then it says on my iPad notes 2 more.
Okay.
It's not in the cloud then.
Yeah, some were set there before you got the cloud. So your all iCloud is one less and one or two less.
Well,
Yeah.
when the notes and stuff add up to 42, which is what I have in all iCloud, and then it says on my iPad, and it says notes 2. So that's 2 more.
How many is in the all iCloud on the iPad?
42, this just the notes and the stuff. Not the other one that says on my iPad.
Is iCloud all iCloud the same on both?
You mean when you say the same on both? It's
Well, if you look at my screen, this is the same as this.
no. No, because I told you I had one in stuff.
Just tell me which one's which. How many do you have in the iCloud? Or in the
On the
iPad?
on the iPhone, I have 40 in the all iCloud, and then I have 1 in stuff.
No,
that
I
adds
just
up.
want to know what's, Anne, I just want to know what's in all iCloud on both.
41 on the phone and 42 on the iPad.
Okay, and there's one somewhere else down here
Under stuff.
under stuff.
It must have been some class. Uh-huh.
Do you have a category called notes only?
Yeah. Yes, I have lots of categories.
Oh.
I have notes and medical and PW and stuff under iCloud. On the
How many
phone.
are in? Okay,
Well, on both.
so we're one out of kilter somehow.
Uh-huh.
That's not a big deal, but okay.
I figure it's not.
And you're saying the one in stuff seems to be the problem.
Well, that adds up. I have 40 in notes and 1 in stuff, which adds up to 41 in all iCloud.
Correct.
On the iPad, however, I have 42 in iCloud instead of 41. And I have 41 in notes and 1 in stuff, which adds up to 42. Then I have something below that that says on my iPad notes too.
No. Those are the two that are causing you the problem. See,
The ones
those are
on my
just on
iPad.
your iPad.
Should I
Okay.
check those notes and see what they are?
No, not now.
Okay.
Okay. There's a way to get them. You can move one from one to the other. On my iPad, you can move to the iCloud. But we'll talk about that in a while. Okay, so we're looking at folders right now. If you choose one of those folders on your iPhone, it will show up. So I'm going to choose notes. And now it's showing up by date on my iPad. On my iPhone, I choose notes over here. And here they are over here. Okay.
And they go backward in date.
Yes, they go backward in dates. So the most recent one is at the top. Okay, so that's the way you get back and forth between the folder, between looking at where all the folders you have and a particular folder. Okay, and then you can scroll down through those notes and pick a particular note. So far, so good. And on your iPhone, you choose a particular note. I can find the same note there. Doesn't matter. On the iPhone, you go back to the notes folder by tapping the top, and then you can go back to folders. It's important you know how to navigate first.
Bill, I have a,
Yes,
my question is, how did you get the format on your phone to see those little icons for the notes? Mine just has the title all in a list.
and that's what I had yesterday. I changed something in settings.
Oh, something.
Let me
So
go
I
see
hit,
it.
so I hit something.
Yeah. Oh, turn off group by date. Let's see what happens now. I gotta start it over again. Nope, that didn't turn it off. Because I actually like the script better than the pictures. This could be the iOS that's doing it to me.
It's view.
Does anybody else have the notes?
You can do that by going to the three little stars on the top of the notes and
Yep.
push view gallery. And you can pick the grid for view gallery.
I don't have view gallery.
It says view as gallery.
View as gallery, right. So that you would see that kind of notes.
Oh, view list. Oh, there it is. Oh.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody follow that? I have what they call a gallery here. And if I tap the three little dots, I can get view list. Oh, geez. Thank
What you
you.
have right now is what mine's showing. I kind of like it. Basic.
Well,
I
I
like it.
understand. Yep.
Yep, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
There we
get
go.
it on the iPad, but not on the iPhone.
Works both of them. You just have to be in
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
the particular folder. Okay. All right.
Before you go to, on the folders screen on the iPhone, first listing is quick notes. That's all it says is quick notes, and there's one in there.
Mhm.
It doesn't have like the iCloud or Outlook or on my phone or anything like that. Means something.
Yes. Remember what I said about Apple unlayering stuff? They added a feature called Quick Notes, and I don't want to get into it yet because I'd
Oh,
rather
okay.
write some notes and then get into it.
Okay.
But they added a feature that allowed you to create a note very quickly. All right. So
Apparently
just
I
don't want
did.
to
1920.
go ahead.
Said apparently I did in 1921.
I understand.
That would be
All right.
2021, not 1920, 2021.
You see okay. How do you start a new note? Let's assume you just got to my class at this particular point and you missed everything we talked about. And that's okay. You just want to create notes. What you would do is, see right here, there's a pen and paper. That's what this icon is. And we'll talk about that in many places. If I tap that, I start a new note. And on the iPhone, it's here at the bottom. Pen and paper, I tap that, and it starts a new note. Now, remember what I said to you? The first line is the title of the note. And I'm going to type in my first note. That's the title line. That's what will show up in the left-hand column on my iPad, and it will show up on the notes screen on the iPhone.
Bill, but even before you start writing a note, you have to decide which folder you want the note to be in.
That's correct. You should. But if most people just put them in the iCloud to start with,
Okay,
or put them in the notes folder. Either one will work. If I don't put them in a specific folder, it will show up in the notes folder. Along with the iCloud. Okay. And I'm going to type a note on my iPhone called my iPhone note. Just so I can tell the difference when they show up in the folder. And you'll notice on my iPad there, it says my iPhone note, which is what I'm working on my iPhone, already shows up in the cloud. Which means you don't need to save a note. It's automatically saved for you. So far, so good? Yes, no,
yes.
maybe,
Yes.
right? And so now you can go ahead and type as you normally would. Using the predictors, if you want to use them. Using the microphone, if you want to use that. This is the note that I'm making for my class on Saturday, February 4th, 2023. Period. All right. So that I typed on my iPhone, right? By using the microphone. If I wanted to add a picture to that, on my iPad, for example, there's a camera there, and I can click the camera. And I can choose a photo from my photo library and add it. If I wanted to write on it, I would click the pen up here, choose a particular writing instrument, choose the color, and then I could write on, whoops, go on.
Bill, where's the pen? I missed that.
And up here at the top on the iPad. Let's see. Down here at the bottom, when you tap, well, let me go back. Down here at the bottom on the iPhone. Okay. Somebody was asking me about a grid or a table. You could tap the table up here. And now you have a grid that you can type in. Oops.
How did you get your picture back onto your note?
How did I get it on the note?
All I have, I selected a photo. I have selected the photo, but I still have the choice of photos with the one I've selected, but with a little click on it, but how do I get it back to the note?
Let me go through that one again. You tap the camera, choose a photo. Let's see. That picture, and it says add here at the top.
Bill, can you change the size of the photo on there?
I haven't tried.
Thank you very much. Worked well.
No. I haven't found a way to change the size.
Can you-
Hey, Bill,
Go ahead.
let's suppose you either put some text in your note or a photo and by mistake remove it. Can you revert?
Can you undo?
Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
If you tap the photo with your finger and hold it, there'll be a choice that you can delete, I believe.
correct.
Yeah.
But what I'm asking is, let's suppose you have a few photos or a couple of lines of text and you remove the wrong one. Can you revert
I
to
haven't-
original?
Yeah, I haven't found an undo.
Okay. I haven't either.
You see the arrows right up here, by the way? If I tap that, I get full screen on my iPad. And I think one of the nicest features of all this, sometimes, for example, I will go to notes when I want to send an extensive email. extensive meaning I want to explain something. Because I like working with the notes screen better than the email screen. And I can add pictures and do things. But then when I'm done with it, there's this share box. See the share little arrow at the top? Yes, it's called the share box. If I tap that, I can share it with someone. For example, I can send it as an email. Now I'm gonna click it and you'll see what happens. Okay, the whole thing gets added to my email. Ooh, picture didn't come through very nicely, did it? Okay,
What happens if you send it in a message?
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay.
Cancel this, then I'll do a message. And it shows up in a quote box at the bottom of the message. And it's all there.
In relationship to the question, the lady asking about deleting something,
Yeah, we
What?
didn't, there's no way I know of to, you want to delete something, you can delete it.
Bill, what I was comparing it to is if you do some editing on a photo, you can revert.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I
thought
was
she was
looking
talking
for.
about text, because I know what to do with text.
Bill, did you say you can edit the photo once it's in a note?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I don't think you can. You have to go to photos.
If you wanted to print the note, there's an option to print right there.
Is that on the phone?
Same thing on the phone. There's the option to print.
Did you get to it?
How do you get
Bill?
to it?
Yes.
Tap the share box. That's the box with the arrow coming out the top. And you scroll down and it says print.
Bill, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, Bearbo.
You know, I tried to send a important note and I printed it out, but it only printed in gray. I couldn't get it printed in black and white. Is there a way to do that? Only in the grayscale.
Where you were printing a picture?
No, it was a text. It was a note to a lawyer in Germany, and I just couldn't get. I finally sent it in gray, and they accepted it. But you know, there was. I went to Office Depot and asked them to send it to me, scan it so that I could send it. And they had their cover page that was black and white, but the note itself was also only in gray.
The note, is it in gray when you're looking at it on the screen when you created it?
No.
So it will go through okay. I think you're printing it in a color.
I did not. I did not.
Because if I print this, let me see what happens if I print. I happen to have a black and white printer. We'll see what happens. I haven't noticed that particular thing.
Bill,
Yes, go ahead.
um, there is a setting when you set up your printer, right? That if you want to save ink, you can do it in grayscale. So,
It's draft, yeah.
yeah, so maybe she just has to go back to the printer and change it to black and white?
Could be, could be.
Everything else prints in black and white, but not the notes.
Oh, so that means your printer's set up for black and white and not grayscale, right?
Yes, I could either go color or black and white. And since it was better, so I definitely did it in black and white, or wanted to do it.
Okay, gotcha. So only the note printed gray.
Yes,
Oh, isn't that weird? Huh,
it is.
never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, I have another question. It's
Go
Barb.
ahead, please.
When you forwarded that note to messages, it forwarded the entire text on that note. When I do it, and I'm looking through settings, I don't see where, it actually sends a link to my note. Not the text within the note. Here, I'll send you one if you want. I'll show you what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Send me a message. But you're coming from notes?
Yeah.
Bill, we talked about that last couple of times ago. If you go to the top of the page, there's two options you can do. Either send as a link or send as a note.
In notes? I don't know. I've never seen that.
Sending a link is actually a cool option, but I had an issue with somebody with an Android. So if you're sending a group a list or some information, as you change it, it automatically changes on their
Okay.
link.
You've moved to the share world.
Well, I'm
What you've
doing
done.
it off my phone.
But it says send as link or share
So,
or something.
well, I opened the note, the one that I just sent you. So I opened the note, I hit the share button, and I forwarded it to you through message. And you got a link versus, so you have to open the link.
Let me get it here. Oh, yes.
There it is.
Okay. Let me go to that note I had. And you see where it says at the top of the note, send as copy
Let me see.
on my
No.
screen? It says send as copy.
No,
Person
I'm not
says-
seeing that on my phone. So in the note itself.
I just saw it on his phone where it said it.
Okay. Gotcha. I have collaborative collaborate checked.
Exactly. And that's why you're sending the link.
Okay.
Okay,
If I sent it as copy, then you would get the text in the message.
correct.
And so if I change that note, you wouldn't get that updated.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so at least I know why that happened. And so I sent one out recently to a group, and one person is an Android.
And they couldn't get to it.
Couldn't get to it.
Right.
So it only goes through the Apple network then, correct?
Yeah, when you're sharing like this, it's iCloud kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They don't work nicely with Android.
Yet. Okay, thank you.
Okay. On one hand, you can say, Apple's really done a great job in terms of allowing all these additional features. And on the other hand, you can say, man, I just wanted to send a note. What's all this other stuff? And that's true. So let's just send a note. And I'd like everybody to send me, create one by hitting the pen and going to notes, tapping the pen and paper, say, I'm sending this note to Bill. So if everybody would do that, yes. You'll notice the first line's really heavy. And the next line, it's much different. All right, so we've all typed that? Yes, say yes.
No, I can't get back to the beginning of where I sent the note.
I just want you to tap the pen and paper at the top. Right,
Pen and paper.
on the screen.
On the
iPad.
iPhone as well.
It's at the bottom on the iPhone. And just type in, I'm sending this note to Bill.
By mail?
Sorry, I can't help you with notes.
Yes?
Send it by mail?
No, Matt, tap the up arrow and send a message. And then type in
Up arrow.
William, yeah. I'm sorry, it's when you type in 941, easiest way, 441 5158. Okay. And press enter. Nine, 4, 1. I'll type it on the screen so you can see it. Okay, 941 441 5158. And then send it.
Okay.
Where do you put that information? It's not coming up on a screen for me. Or else I'm lost.
Okay, right now I'm looking in my note. I am sending this note to Bill. This is the second line. Then I'm going to tap the share box at the top of the screen on the iPad, the top on the iPhone as well.
Die Pillen mitnehmen und am nächsten Dienstag, ne?
I didn't hear that.
That was German for something.
Thank you, Ann. And then I tap message. And I type in you type in my phone number. Is the easiest way. You don't have my actual Apple ID.
It just isn't working. Not.
Okay, somebody sent it to me as an email. And I
I
got
sent it
16
both ways.
messages. Look at all those messages, guy. All right. Now I'm not going to respond to all of them. Who sent me that one?
It was a good class from Marsh.
Very good, very good. Okay, guy. Okay. Okay. I just want to point out something. We're going to talk about messages in a minute. But you'll notice on here, I've gotten messages from a lot of folks. And a lot of them, I'm only getting the phone number for, so it's hard for me to tell who it's coming from.
Oh,
When I type my message on the place I'm supposed to type it, and I hit the little box with the arrow in it, I get another screen that repeats the message, then has a note, picture of a note, and it says collaborate, only invited people can edit.
Tap the arrow there and change it to send copy or copy or something like that. See, mine says send copy. You want to get rid of collaborate. That's the one that sends the link versus the actual note.
I got lost, Bill, so I sent you a picture because I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh, you got it right.
But it doesn't say anything.
Well,
But I had said something on it.
Okay, I've got the send copy, but it's not sending anything. It's not giving me an opportunity to put a name to where to send it. It's just
Tap on messages. See the green box? Tap messages because you want to send a message. And then it comes up with 2. Hey, Bill, you there? Bill
Yes.
Kelleher?
Yeah,
How do we get, I know I could hunt or poke around for this, but I'm getting only phone numbers. How do we get to have their name come through versus the phone number?
I think it depends that they're in your address book because
yeah.
I noticed mine came through with a name on it and others came through with just a phone number. Because you have my phone number in your address book.
I think that's it.
Is that the reason?
I have your phone number in my address book, and that's the way I had to send it.
You know,
Yes, Jean too. I have you in my contact list. So it was easy. I just put in Bill and it sent it.
I know, I'm saying, why am I seeing, see my iPhone?
Yeah, you're only seeing the phone numbers. I think that's because they're not in your contact list.
Is that it?
I'm not sure. I'm just guessing.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
I think that's it.
Like I have you in my contact list, but if they don't have you in their contact list, you gave them the
Okay.
phone number. I assume that's the only way to convert it.
I think you may be right.
Yeah. So take one of them and try it.
Well, no, I've got Jean. See, Jean is there. I've got
I think
Lake.
I'm in your contact list, Bill.
But you don't
Who's-
have me in your contact list. This is Barb Shapiro, so that's why my phone number came through.
Let me see if I have.
But
you
I'm not in
contact.
Bill's contact list and my email came through.
Are you sure?
And Kathy, it's good at,
Who said they weren't in my contact list?
Me,
Me,
Kathy,
Barb
I'm
Shapiro.
sorry.
No, Barb, I did have your name in there or did not?
Did not. You had my phone number.
Okay, there's Barb,
Well, there I am. So,
but I don't have your
see,
phone
but
number.
yeah, but you only have my
number for her.
email address.
That's correct. And so if I put your phone number in here, it will give
Or
me,
you can go to the message list and tap on it and add that phone number to an existing contact.
did you hear what she said?
Because I've done that many times with people.
Okay, so what's
So
your phone number?
it's the 941-266-1070. Where to go? I saw it before.
Oh, it's here somewhere. There it is. 3679.
No.
Okay.
But you know what?
Okay.
I deleted on my phone.
Well, we shouldn't delete from mine.
Yeah, no, I deleted the shared note.
It was
No,
there, it's further
oh.
down.
It was, but it's gone.
Oh, you took the.
I'll send it again.
I just saw the one that I sent by phone and then I sent one by email.
I just want one by phone here.
266-1070, isn't that hers?
Here we go. I'm just sending another one.
Or just
So
this.
it should land on the top. There it is. So, and then
so
if you
I
go to
tap
the I,
here-
go up on top there, right?
I did. And then I tap it again, I think.
Where you go to the info.
And I can add.
Add
create a
it to the
contact.
existing contact.
Okay. What's your first name?
Barbara Shapiro.
And there you are.
There we go. I just saw me. Yep.
Update. And
Sweet.
Now, if you
I
go
want-
back, it should have her name on it.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go back and see. Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So to avoid getting these numbers, folks, you have to add that number to a contact.
Yes, that's correct. Oh, yes. Yes.
You got the one I sent by contact.
Do I have your phone number? What's your phone number?
Me, Leah,
Yeah,
941-586.
hold on there. 0185.
That's correct.
Okay, so I can,
I have to show you. I took a screenshot of the weather this morning.
tap right here and tap info.
Interesting.
And I know I have yours. Maybe not.
It's LE.
Thank you. LEA?
AH.
It's now shifted from here to here.
Nope, I don't have her in my contacts. Okay.
Yeah.
Have we any questions on notes? What you have to do is you have to get into notes and start working with it. There's all the notes I've made today, right? My iPhone note. And if I go back to notes, here they are, right? I made them today.
Bill,
And
I have a question.
if I have a note, and let me open one. I can move that note from where it is to somewhere else, and I'm going to put it in test. So now that note is in test. Make sense, everyone?
Bill, can you drag it over or you have to be in it? Can you drag it over now without being in it?
I don't know. Let me go to all my iCloud. No, I don't think there is a way to do that.
Like, can you just drag that over to test?
No,
No.
I'm trying right now.
Oh, how about that? Okay, thank you.
Right,
Can you do it on the iPhone?
drag it, or yeah, you
Yes,
can move it.
the
You can,
process.
yeah, here's. Let me go back into notes here.
Are you at notes from settings?
Okay, here's my first note. I'm going to open it. I'm going to tap the three little dots and it says move note. And I'll put that in test. Okay, so now that note is in test.
Joe and Bob Zupo go to every Saturday. Joe always looks for problems.
All right. And again, I think I need to reiterate something. Look at my iPad, and I can look at my iPhone too. All iCloud is all your notes. If you have one that says my iPad, you can open it and move it to the iCloud. So I'd recommend you do that if you have some of your notes that are not in the iCloud. If you tap edit and I salute. All right. Everybody follow that? If I wanted to change the location of this note, because right now it says it's in test. I would open it, hit the three dots, and move it. And you can do that on any note. I can also hit it and pin it. What does that mean? If I pin it, and I will do that, and go back to the iCloud, it shows up in a group all by itself, clear at the top.
How did you get to the note, to the screen that showed the place you want to put it?
I do not want to put it. That's the place where it is. I'm in all iCloud, and it shows me where it is.
What was the pin and unpin?
Pardon me?
What
What was the
was
question?
pin? What was the pin and unpin?
If you have a special note you're working on, you can pin it to the top, and it will show up at the top of the menu. So if I select this note, well, let me select this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I tap the three dots and pin it, it's still in that folder, the one I had it in, but it will show up here at the top as pinned.
Oh, thank you.
Back to the moving of a text.
Say again, please.
Back to the moving of the message or the note, moving the
Mhm.
note. I have my screen open to where my notes, the folder that says notes, and I'm looking at the note that I just did, and I would like to move it to the iCloud. How do I do that?
No, if it's in notes, it's already in the iCloud. Follow me? Go ahead and go back to folders and click all iCloud, and it should be there.
Yes, it is.
Let me make that point again, Leah, for everybody. Look at my screen for a moment. It says all iCloud, and then it says notes, knots, blah, 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 blah. It has all these other folders. iCloud contains, it shows you all your notes. What the iCloud is showing me now is that I have chosen to put some of the notes that are in iCloud. I put some of them in test. I put some of them in mine. I put some elsewhere. There are 104 of the 145 I have not chosen to put in any other subfolder. So I have 145 notes in total, 104 of which have not been put in any subfolder. And then there are those below there that I have put in subfolders. If I added up all these, including notes, I should have 145.
So can you move
Question?
something out of cloud to another contain?
It doesn't remove them from the cloud is the point.
Right.
You're just taking what is in the cloud and putting them in a subfolder. They're not being removed from the cloud. It works the same way with your pictures, where you have recents and then you have albums. They don't get removed from recents when you put them in an album. Every picture you've taken is in recents.
Can you move a note in the notes folder to another folder?
Yeah. I go to notes and I take this note and I tap the arrows and I want to move. I want to move it to, now this will move it out of the notes folder. And I'm going to move it to test as well. Okay. So that did change the folder it was in.
Thank you.
I used to have 104 in notes. Now I have 103. But I still have all 145 in the iCloud. Made it as clear as mud, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you wanted to create a folder, down here is where you create it. You're in the folders menu. You click on add a folder, like I did here with stuff.
Oh,
And you can delete a folder. By pressing and holding it and delete. Before I switch to messages, two very active seniors, Jacob 95 and Mary 89, living in the villages, are all excited about their decision to get married. They go for a stroll to discuss the wedding, and on the way they pass a drugstore. Jacob suggests they go in. Jacob addresses the man behind the counter. Are you the owner? The pharmacist answers yes. Jacob asks him, we are about to get married. Do you sell heart medication? Of course we do, says the pharmacist. Jacob, how about medicine for circulation? Pharmacist, all kinds. Jacob, medicine for rheumatoid arthritis. Pharmacist, definitely. Jacob, how about suppositories and medicine for impotence? Pharmacist, you bet. Jacob, medicine for memory problems, arthritis, and Alzheimer's. Pharmacist, yes, a large variety. Jacob, what about vitamins, sleeping pills, Geritol, and prescriptions for Parkinson's disease? Pharmacist, absolutely. Jacob, everything for heartburn and indigestion? Pharmacist, we sure do. Do you sell wheelchairs and walkers and canes? Pharmacist, joking a little bit, says all speeds and sizes. Jacob, adult diapers. Pharmacist, sure. So how can I help you? Jacob, we'd like to use this store as our bridal registry. All right.
Good one.
Messages. Okay, I'm going to get out of what I'd like you to use is notes next week. I use notes for my prescriptions, so I get them spelled right the next time I go to a doctor. I use notes for my allergies. I use notes for, well, you can see a whole list of stuff here. Anything I want to remember, my TBD lists. If I have a phone number that I just happen to get somewhere, I pop it in there first. I want to put photos in there. I actually have mine in there and I lock it. My passwords are all on my device, but they're locked. You see the note on my iPad, it says, it shows you as locked, right? You can lock a note, but you first have to go to settings, notes, passwords, and set it up. Wi-Fi passwords I put in there. What else? I have a desk chair I had to order parts for, so I took a picture of the label so that I have the codes and everything on the label, and I saved it in a note. There's a note that is locked. It's called test. If I want to view the note, I've got to put in the password. And we'll see what it is. Oh, that was it. Okay. So now I have unlocked the note. And when I'm done editing the note, I just click the lock up at the top and it locks it again. Here's what's not, when I was working on iOS 14, here are a bunch of the new features on it that I copied and pasted into notes. How many of you have subscriptions? And the subscription service you're member of are sending you, update your prescription or subscriptions a year before it's due to run out. Well, I keep a list of all my subscriptions and what date they are. And by the way, if I go into notes, I can search the note. And I'm searching all iCloud for SUB subscriptions. And there are the subscriptions that I happen to have. And when the subscription renewal occurs. You'll notice consumer report there was May of 2022. I did update that. So I've got to go in here and change it. I think you see the value, hopefully, in using notes for all kinds of, as our memories fade, substitute for our memories. Any questions? None? Okay. Messages. Now there are many messaging programs. Facebook has one, Google has one, and there are all kinds of other ones out there. I think I have here. All the Hangouts. Here's some of the names of them. Skype has a messaging service. Messenger, Chat. What's the one? A lot of people use Chat. But you have to register for each one of those, and then you communicate through that to the person who has it on the other end. And they do go cross-platform. So if I send a note to somebody who has messages, as long as I get the right ID, it will go to them as well. Now, if I use messages, and I got all these messages from all of you, there's some nice features here. If I want to send a note to Nan. Right? I open her note. And hopefully you're out there, Nan, are you? Are you muted? If I send hi, oops. And I sent one to Nan. Let me go down here to, are you there, Ann?
I'm
Yes?
here. Yes.
Okay. Ooh, just a minute. And my keyboard's acting up a little bit. I'm trying to get it to change. All right. I'll do it this way.
It says red 11523 on Thanks Ann. Is that
Pardon me?
when you do Thanks Ann under her photograph, it says 11523.
Yeah, she may have the wrong time there. Okay, and I just sent you a note. Would you respond, please?
Yes. You want me to respond to your note?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Well, I do that in messages.
Yep. I just sent you a response that said, hi, Ann. And now Ann's going to type. Ann is going to start typing. Have you started yet? Hopefully. There you go. Oh, I didn't see the dots show up.
What dots?
What I should see on my screen is a little indication that she's typing.
I think it depends on how long, how much they're typing.
Yeah, see the little three dots occurring on the screen on my iPad? Now she's
Yes.
and now she's typing. And now in messaging etiquette, I should not start typing something when I see those three dots because she's finishing her typing, right? Does that make sense to everybody? Otherwise, you get, you're interrupting her speech and starting a different subject or going a different direction than she is going. So that's the first little hint on messages. What else can I cover here quickly? If I wanted to insert a picture, like Ann has done there, I would click the camera, and then I could take a picture. If I wanted to put a photo, see the little, well, she's typing some more. See the little picnic table here underneath? the little popsicle sticks that form an A. If you click that, you get an additional line down here. If you already have that line and click that, it will disappear. If I want a picture, I would click here and I would add a picture. Anybody tell me what kind of flower that is? And I just interrupted Ann.
Gardenia.
No, it says jasmine.
Oh,
All right. Now, one of the things you can do over here, oh, if you don't have this set of icons down here, Ann, you click
right.
you click the little icon right here that I'm
That's
pointing
the
to.
icon I don't have. That's the, is it different on the phone?
You don't have it to the left of iMessage?
I have it on the iPad, but I do not have it on the iPhone.
And what is to the left of iMessage on the iPhone? Anything?
Yeah, there's a world. There's a globe, and of course, then there's the thing that you speak with.
Well, that's clear at the bottom. You see where mine says iMessage?
Yes, and it says iMessage on mine too.
And to the left of that, nothing?
No, nothing. Is no. Oh, Bill, I'm blind. Yes, to the left of iMessage, I see it.
Tap that and you'll get that additional line. All right. And you can click the picture and add a picture. What happens? Did anybody ever try clicking the microphone there?
Yes, and you can speak your message.
Hi, Ann. Whoops. Hi, Ann. Well, let me try it again. Yeah.
It might go into the line where you would put her name.
See, it's typing whatever we're saying. Okay, now I'm gonna have to
It's still
backspace.
coming through to me.
Oh, you're not getting that text yet. I haven't sent that.
Well, it looks like you are because it's those three little dots are moving around.
Yeah, I know. So I want to do some high with flare. You see the blue dot there, the blue icon? If you press and hold that temporarily, this happens. And you come up with something that says invisible ink, gentle, loud, and slam. That's the way the quote bubble will appear. So if I click on slam, it will do that. And the arrow moves up to there. If I click on loud, now I haven't sent it yet, or gentle, or invisible ink. So I'm going to send this message as hi with flare. And then I think the one that everybody really likes is up here at the top of the message. I haven't sent it yet. It says send with effects. And if I tap where it says screen, that's the first effect it could send. And you'll notice that screen has some dots here at the bottom. And if I sweep from right to left, it comes up with a different thing that it would send. if I click on the next dot or go from right to left, that's the way the note would come through with balloons.
Now, where did you get the sandwich effect?
Okay, so let me go back to the beginning.
Is this just on the iPad?
No, works on the iPhone as well. You have to type in a little text, press and hold the button. It
Which
says send
button?
with effects, the send button. Press and hold the blue button. Press and hold it. And then you should say, it should say bubble at the top and screen at the top. If I tap screen, then you'll get these different effects.
And how do you choose your effect?
You sweep from, put your finger right here and sweep this way, or you tap the little the dots here at the bottom to go to different particular effects.
I still didn't see what you pressed in the beginning. You said press the blue.
Okay, let me go out of this entirely.
Sorry.
This is the screen I'm looking at. I have
Okay.
not sent I have
Right.
not sent the email yet, or the
Uh-huh.
message. The little blue arrow here at the bottom, if you tap it, it will send it. But if you tap and hold it,
Oh, got it.
how about that? Okay,
Can I ask you a question about messages? The
yes,
messages,
go ahead.
I was trying what you were just gonna send a message and look at it and verify what you're saying for some reason. And what I have is a message in the middle of it that says no suggestions. More suggestions will be shown once messages finishes indexing. Name in, it won't let me do anything else. I still get that message. And it's the first time I've ever had that message.
I'm not sure where you're saying you're getting this. Leah? Ask your question again. What do you have showing up on your screen? Leah, you there? She must have lost us. Okay,
I've never had problems with messages before. I love it. I use it all the time.
right. And what are you seeing?
I'm seeing the same thing, nothing, just the keyboard and the things below the keyboard. But I can put in a name, but it does not give me the place to write the message.
So are we on the iPhone and the iPad?
I'm on an iPhone.
And does it look like mine on the left on the screen?
Normally it does, but it's not now.
Hey, if you tap where it says iMessages, what happens? Or don't you have something that says to iMessages? Okay, I'm gonna go on here.
Yeah.
So the
Just to-
microphone you can tap and actually works like a microphone.
Bill,
Yes,
I Googled it, indexing problem. And when you go through an upgrade, it sometimes gets stuck in the indexing. And the solution is power it down and power it back up.
okay,
Thank you, because I did do an upgrade the other day.
okay. Hmm. What if you wanted to put a picture in here? How would you do it? You would go to the icon at the bottom of my iPad there, or on my iPhone right above the keyboard, and you would click on that particular object. It would take you to your pictures. You could select one and it would insert it in the message. If you got one that had a picture, the pictures will have the pictures will have a little arrow pointing down. If you click that little arrow, you just saved it in your photo library. Okay? Any questions about that one? To save one?
You can also start with a picture and then add your message.
You could. Let's do that. I'm talking to Nan right now. If I start with a picture, I come down here a little bit and I pull a picture. And I'm going to send, and I say add it. Okay, now I'm sending that picture. So I'm sending Nan a picture of the puzzle of the year. This was one I got from Unidragon. And if you
Wow.
look at the pieces, that's what the pieces look like.
Wow.
Okay.
Spectacular.
And no edges.
No edges. You've got it.
Unidragon. I love that. Wow.
Did you actually do that, Bill?
Say again, please.
Did you actually complete that puzzle, Bill?
My daughter-in-law did. It was amazing. I put a couple of pieces in there.
That's impressive.
Couple. You.
Ooh, the edges of it also have edges, designs on.
Yeah, it's a total color matching. Anyway, and I can send that to Nan. If I wanted to add my voice to an email, a message, I'll go down here and send it to somebody I recognize. Oh, I'll send it to Lake.
Okay.
Hi, Lake, how are you today? Hope you're having a good class.
Thanks, Bill.
Now I just sent that to her, and she's actually got a recording. Go ahead and play it.
It's loading right now.
Oh, okay.
Here it comes. Tap and, okay.
Tap the little arrow.
I gotta put the volume.
Okay. Hope you're having a good class.
Did you hear it?
Yes,
play
we
it.
heard it.
Okay, good.
Thank you. So you
Well-
get the idea? She just sent it back to me. Or she just sent, right?
I sent it back to you?
No, somebody sent me one.
I
here.
did.
Okay, let's do that. Somebody said it was a great class. I don't have it very loud, so. All right. And how did I get to that? Well, I got this bottom bar here of all the nice little features I can add. And the one that looks like a microphone is the one I selected. The one that a lot of people like to use is this one called, looks like a badminton racket. If you click it, it shows you up a lot of vignettes. I call them vignettes. They're short videos. And you're saying, well, how do I know what kind of video I want? Well, if you scroll, it says find an image at the top. And if you type that in, you can say, I want waterfalls. And it gives me pictures of waterfalls. And I can choose one. I don't know who I'm sending. I'm sending this to Lake as well. And then I can send that to Lake.
I got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lake. Hey, you could say, I want birthday. And it gives you a lot of different emotions associated with a birthday.
And Bill, where is that on the iPhone?
Same place. If you, I'll go over to my iPhone. Okay, oops, didn't want to do that. If you don't have that little, that bar at the bottom, you tap these the little thing that looks like a popsicle sticks with an A. And there are the different selections, and you can scroll this over where the, I'll call it badminton racket is. Guess it could be a pickleball racket. And you click it, and that's where the videos show up.
That's
Okay.
great.
Go ahead. You were breaking up.
I love that. It's great to have all those options.
Yeah. Now, if you have and I'm not going to get into this because we're at the end of the class, but you see right here, I think it's this one I click. And can I choose this guy? No, just a minute. No. So if you have a facial recognition device, somebody, Ian just sent me one, or he's in the process. There you go. Okay. Let me go back. Oh, thanks, Lake. That's a beautiful one. If I scroll over here, and you see where mine says Memo-J, and I go from left to left, right, and let's say I want a giraffe, and I want the giraffe to be speaking to someone. So I can click the giraffe here and look at my mouth. Well, let me pick one that's here. If I wink, that one doesn't do both. See the kitty? As I open and close my mouth, because I have facial recognition, it's looking at my face. And if I wink or talk, it moves. And if I hit the red button, hi, Lake, this is a fun one to send. Hoping you're having a nice day.
That's amazing.
And I'm going to click the arrow and it sends it. Okay. Do I have any questions on messages?
Got it now.
Yes, yes. How do you do that? Sometimes people respond to a message I sent with a little emoji in the top left corner of what I sent. Either, you know, like a thumb up or something, or a heart or something like that. How do you do that?
Say that again. I didn't get the question very well.
I send a text message and then somebody
Okay.
responds to that text message with a little emoji in the top left corner of my text message. It could be a thumbs up, it could be a heart, something like that. How is that done?
So when they send you a message, something appears?
Respond to my message. Rather than typing out a message back to me, they attach an emoji to my message. It shows in the top left corner of my message.
You mean like one of these?
I forward a message to you, it'll show you that.
Yeah, would you please?
How do I forward a message to you?
You don't.
What?
You have to create your own.
What?
Yeah, there's no way to
I think,
forward.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
think what she's
Jeff.
asking for is just to, when you type in a message, you can also type in an emoji.
No, but what I'm saying is I've typed a message to somebody. And what they do is they send me an emoji back attached to my message.
They reply back with an emoji.
No, they don't type a separate message. They send an emoji back
Yeah,
attached to
I
my message.
understand. I understand.
If you have a message, if you press it, hold your finger on it, you can forward it.
You see what I just
Sorry,
did?
I couldn't hear.
Under
On
more,
my iPad, I have a bunch of messages here. Here's one I got from Jean. If I press and hold that, it comes up with the heart, the thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, that's it. So
So it's just press and hold
the
it.
message.
And then you can add those particular icons to it.
So when you press and hold the message, that those icons stay up there?
Yeah, just see what happened there? I got the thumbs up. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I
So
just press and hold the message itself.
You press and hold the message itself. Okay. And that's it. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Next week, everybody. What are we having next week? I'm going to switch screens. And if I tap, let's see, calendar. Next week is email. Okay.
That's
Nice
what mine
having you.
says.
It's been nice having you all.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week.
Yep, have a great week.
Have a
Same
great
time.
week.
Thanks, Bill.
Take care. Thanks,
Same
everybody, for
Thanks,
for
Bill.
your help and information. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Bill.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.